Hi, welcome to A Step into Sports. I am here with Howard from the Aspire Group in Maryland. So, Howard, how about you tell them a little bit about yourself here?
Cool. No, I appreciate you having me on. A little bit about myself, born and raised in Maryland. Grew up a diehard Terps fan, so it's great to work for the hometown team. Been here most of my life. Went to West Virginia as an undergrad, graduated in 2012, studied sport management and communications, and started with the Aspire Group at Maryland in 2012, and the rest is history. Been here a little over 8 years back in August. And been very fortunate to be there in that time and with through multiple different roles.
So, what attracted you to go into the sports industry?
Yeah. I always wanted to be around sports. I loved sports growing up. It's a common thing we always hear in interviews and things like that. Didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do, just knew I wanted to be around it. So at school, I got involved with a lot of different internships, things like that to figure out what route I wanted to go in sports, because I found out probably in middle school, it definitely wasn't going to be as the athlete route. Got involved, volunteered where I could, and found out, some things that I was passionate about in the industry that I knew nothing about as a fan growing up. And, it's been awesome. It's been a great ride.
So, what are some of those internships or volunteer opportunities you took while in college?
Yeah. The two big ones that stick out were Beyond Sports Network. That was my first internship. Shout out to Jimmy. Still keep in contact with him today. Essentially, what that was is, it was a scouting company. It gave a platform for athletes, kind of like a Facebook for athletes. And we interviewed athletes doing very similar things to what you're doing right now. We showcased games of the week and interviewed athletes. And it was more so at the FCS, D2, D3, and NAIA level, so not at the D1. So we promoted those those smaller school athletes and things like that. And we also hosted a combine our first year, and there got to be some people that were, there were some NFL teams there, CFL team scouting. So it was a cool experience. And they're still going to this day, doing a lot of combines and stuff. And then fanspeak.com, we worked with their social media team a little bit, did some mock drafts, sports blogs and stuff, the stuff you dream to do as a kid growing up, so two really, really cool internships. And, but there wasn't really an opportunity in that realm full time after I graduated. So, always really heard sales was a great place to start, learned a lot about the Aspire Group. And like I said, it's been a great ride ever since, learned a ton there. And, it's been awesome. Never thought I'd be in sales, but in college, but I absolutely love it, everything about it and what it's done for me.
So, explain a little bit more about what you do with the Aspire Group in sales.
Yeah. So I'm a regional director now for the Aspire Group. So at Maryland, I'm the director of sales. I oversee a larger staff over our service and retention that work donors and season ticket holders, our new business and our groups team, group sales, theme nights and promotions, selling season tickets, single game buyers, and mini plans. And then regionally on the Aspire front, I help out with Coastal Carolina, Richmond, and Liberty. So kind of regionally by me, help with their sales teams, help with their leader, and then also be in some of those strategy meetings and conversations as well on the athletic department side.
All right. So, what path did you take to get to your spot? Because you said you interned with some other companies. Did you intern with Aspire and then get on, or was there another path that you took to get there?
Yep. So my first position with the Aspire Group right out of college was the new business consultant. So on the new business team, entry level sales, smile and dial, 100 calls a day. Did that, and that and I've been at Maryland my entire 8 years, which has been great. Very fortunate to be able to do that and stay and keep growing. Aspire, they care a lot about their employees. They want to grow them and get them to where they want to be, whether it's in sports, sales, wherever. So after about a year, was promoted to senior rep, had more responsibilities in the office, was still expected to sell at a high level. After about a year or so after that, was promoted to team leader, overseeing that or helping oversee that new business team. At that point, we had 3 team leaders at the time, one in charge of groups, one in charge of service. Had the opportunity to be the manager of that department. all three of those teams, then director, and now regional director, like I said, about a year and a half ago at this point. So been a wild ride in those 8 years. It's been great. And, it's been awesome to work with a ton of great people over that time as well.
All right. In your personal experience, how important to you are internships in this field?
I think internships are very important from the standpoint of it helps you, the professional, like what you like, what you don't like, knowing, this is a position I definitely don't want to do for my career. And this is something I really like, or, maybe there's bits and pieces from other internships that you learn that, might help, from another position. So I think it's really more just important of getting some experience and finding out what's right for you in your path. Mm-hmm. I don't think sometimes not having internships is necessarily a deal breaker at the same time. But I do think just the biggest thing you can do is just making sure you have contacts and relationships in the industry, really by putting yourself out there and seeing, learning about them and things like that.
For people who could be watching this and looking at internships potentially, does the Aspire group offer any internships that you can maybe shed some light on here?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it varies school to school. We're at a ton of different schools all over the country, all over the world, really, teams as well, pro teams. So it varies. We've had sales positions, we've had marketing internships, shadow opportunities. So it really varies. Some things that we've had at Maryland, I know we've talked about this at Sync a little over a year ago. At this point at that conference, but we like to have our interns, work our games, help out with some data capture at our enter and win tables, shadow with the sales staff, go through our training. We don't necessarily have them make calls or anything, but we want them to, really get a feel for what it's like to work in sales to see if that's an avenue that they want to go. So yeah, again, we have them go through our sales training. We have them go through our interview process just so they can get that experience, because a lot of people aren't prepared for that as well. So our internship at Maryland's really focused on the professional development aspect of it and really giving that person that we hire what they want to put in, essentially.
Yeah. All right. So have you had your I made it moment yet in sports? That time where you could just sit down and be like, all right, I made it where I want to be. I'm comfortable. Have you had that? Or if you have, shed some light on that, what it was.
Yeah. I guess I made it was my first day on the job, August 6th, 2012, coming in at, Maryland Stadium, pulling up, the stadium that I went to so many games as a kid growing up, saying, I made it. I'm in the sports industry. I was happy to be in the sports industry. And I knew at that point I wanted to do sales. So that would, I say, be my I made it moment. I was just so happy at that point. In terms of being comfortable or content with where I'm at, I always want to keep pushing and I always want to keep growing. I always want to keep getting better. But, I'm very happy with where I'm at, fortunate to be, again, home where I'm, close with friends and family for a team that, I grew up loving with, on the Aspire front as well, getting the support from them and as well from the Maryland Athletic Department. It's been a great combination of the two for sure.
In your opinion, what is the biggest thing that somebody has to do to break into this industry?
I think I touched on it a little bit. I don't know if it's necessarily the internship. I think it's, and I'm very happy to be seeing a lot of it right now over these last 6 or 7 months, is people that are putting the time in to get to know people in the industry, reaching out to, directors of sales, directors of sponsorships, people who sell in premium positions, whatever it might be, and just growing their network and learning about what they do. And, there's a lot of great people in this industry that are happy to help those people and open some doors. And, but I think it's really important for those people that are doing those things to actually focus on that relationship. Don't just have a list of 3 to 5 questions and ask it and hop off the phone and think you did what you should be doing. Focus on the relationship, get to know that person, and they're going to want to do the same for you and help you out. Instead of, when I get a reference email being like, hey, this person mentioned you, if it was just one of those 2-minute conversations with a couple quick questions, I probably won't remember that person. But if we had a good conversation and a good, relationship established and talked about, a common connection or whatever, and then we went on to talk shop and the industry and things like that. Those are the people that we go to battle for, that we want to help out and things like that. So really focus on building as many sincere, genuine relationships with people in the industry, and not just think it's quality or quantity over quality. It's definitely quality over quantity for sure in terms of getting to know people.
That's a good point right there. All right, is there anything in your path into sport that really stands out for you on something that like is put you where you are now?
Yeah, I mean, I think having the trait of just being coachable uh, and is huge. I wouldn't be in the position I am today if I wasn't, I think, open to learning and open to feedback and criticism, understanding the why behind it. If I've had when I was coming up selling, I've had tough conversations with my leaders, and they've given good feedback to me. But instead of me just getting upset about it, being like, I can't believe they said that, I knew they wanted to get me better, and taking it like that in a positive mindset instead of being negative about it, I think really helped me. So I think that's something that everyone needs to have, is just understanding that if you get feedback, it's for your best interest, and they really truly want to they're not picking on you. And then the other thing is work ethic. I don't think I was the best salesperson coming up my first year or so in sales, but I knew I was going to outwork everybody until I got good and my sales skills really, really developed. So I just controlled what I can control my first year, making sure I was leading the team in all the things that I could control: my calls, my talk time, my referrals, and things like that. And then when it all clicks, you never look back on the sales board.
All right, something that's really big in this industry is the relocation of like you have to move out of your hometown and move to whatever industry that you're going to go into. You've kind of mentioned how you've been in Maryland. You went to college though in West Virginia. Has there
Yeah.
any been like looking into moving for you, or were you always just like happy and staying where you are?
Yeah, for sure. Right now, with where I'm at in life, I love, being 30 minutes down the road from all my high school friends and my family and things like that. So I think right now, I like where I'm at. West Virginia was kind of the perfect distance for me from school.
Mm-hmm.
From a school standpoint, 3 hours, you're not too close to home. You're just kind of right where you don't feel like you need to come home once a month or whatever it might be. But yeah, right now with where I'm at in life, very fortunate to stay here. But it's been cool leading into when the pandemic hit. With my regional responsibilities, I did get to travel a little bit more. We go to each school that we oversee 3 times a year. So it was cool to get out on the road a little bit, or, catch a flight and things like that and get that experience. So we'll see where that goes after that. But right now, very happy with where I'm at. And again, fortunate to not have to relocate.
So although you didn't have to relocate, you get to travel around,
Yeah.
which
So
kind
that's
of
been
gives a
cool.
benefit there.
Right. No doubt.
All right. So are you looking to go anywhere else with your career, or have you hit where you are happy and planning on staying with the company? Or are you going to move horizontal to move up, or what do you feel on that one?
Yep. You're very happy with where I'm at currently. What's been awesome about the Aspire Group is just that it's still a very young company. It's only about 12 years old. So the position that I'm in right now, regional director, wasn't a position 65 years ago with the company. So, as I'm growing, Aspire's growing. So there's going to continue probably to be opportunities down the line. And, I'm excited to keep riding that wave. Definitely my passions is in the industry right now is on the development side in terms of developing staff, getting them to be where they want to be. So I don't think I ever want to be too far away from the day to day of working with the sales staff and working with people right out of college and developing their careers. So somewhere in that kind of area is definitely where I want to continue to be. What that looks like 5 years down the road, I don't know, but very happy where I'm at currently, and excited to see, what that next step might be with Aspire in Maryland for sure.
All right. That's all I have for you. Do you have any other tips of advice you want to give to people looking to get into the industry?
Yeah, I mean, name's Howard Ticker. Don't hesitate to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Happy to help, happy to be a resource. Definitely take my advice of what I said when we do get to that point. We do catch up about our conversation. But yeah, happy to help, happy to be a resource. Yep.
All right. Thank you very much, Howard. Those watching the video, make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you all on the next one.